Hey everyone, Mr. Foster here coming to you from my ETSU office, working a little bit late here this afternoon. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. I wanted to make another video update for the PWAs and talk a little bit more about what we're going to do this week with our first major writing assignment. So the literacy narrative, if you haven't seen yet on my comments, most of my comments said this on your PWAs. But the literacy narrative is going to be a narrative style of writing. Okay. So what that means is you're going to be telling a story in your narrative. So, you're going to use first person, all that good stuff. But for a lot of my comments that I left, you're going to have to pick which one of your ideas you think you can most easily turn into a narrative, right? You're going to think about some situations, some moments from your past, perhaps, that you can remember well enough to turn them into your story, right? Your story that you're writing here. Okay. So what we're going to do as we're practicing this is to do a creative writing. It's essentially a creative writing exercise where you're going to pick one of three prompts. And what you're going to be doing here is you're going to work on your description, right? So I posted an activity. We're going to do it in two parts. Okay. So the first part is where you're going to be doing the writing. Okay. So the second part is you're going to go back and look at what you wrote, and I'm going to give you some instructions on some things that you can maybe tweak, you can change, revise, make a little better for your the first writing that you did. Okay. So for the first part of the exercise, you will pick one of the three prompts, and for whichever one you pick, I really want you to think, how can you add detail? How can you be descriptive? How can you make this engaging for your reader? Okay? Because those are the same skills that you're going to be using when you do your literacy narrative, right? You're going to be using those same writing skills in this narrative assignment. Okay? So I want you to focus on that for right now. And I know that it says that our rough draft is going to be due, but I think I'm going to go ahead and push that back a little bit because I want you to, before you start worrying about the rough draft of the literacy narrative, I want you to get some practice with this style of writing that we're going to be doing. Okay. And as always, I want you to keep referring back to the assignment sheet. I want you to keep referring back to the rubric that is at the bottom of the assignment sheet because that's the stuff you're going to be graded on when the assignment's actually turned in. Okay. We're still a week or two away from that, but I want you to just keep it in mind. Remember that it's there. Okay. So do this first half of this descriptive writing exercise for right now. I think you're just going to be doing like 250 to 300 words of writing. And I guess in this update, I will go ahead and just very briefly touch on what I expect in a rough draft. Okay. So for every one of our major writing assignments, we will do a PWA, which you've already done. Then you'll do a rough draft, and then you will do a final draft. Okay. The only part that's actually graded is the final draft. Okay. I will grade the PWAs just based on you did it, turned it in, a completion grade, but I'm not, giving you points off or anything like that if you only had like two ideas instead of three or anything like that. So the PWAs, do them, turn them in, you'll get the completion grade. The rough drafts are not graded, the final drafts are. Okay? So what I look for when I am getting a rough draft from someone is is that first of all you've picked your one topic, right? Some of you, I think a couple of you had one topic to begin with, and I guess that's fine. We'll just stick with that one topic. But the majority of you, probably 99% of you, had multiple topics, right? So what I want to see in your rough draft is that you've narrowed down to just your one topic that you're going to focus on, okay? And then you have started to do some more work on it, okay? So step one, you've selected just one topic, and you've started to do some kind of writing on it, okay? Whether that be an outline, whether that be free writing, whatever it is you want to do, okay? So a lot of students that I have will be kind of wary about their first rough draft because they're not exactly sure what they need to do. The only thing I'm really asking you to do is to have your idea solidified. You have your idea that you're going to be working with, and that you've started to do some writing about it. You've started to do an outline. You started to write a few paragraphs of free writing, something like that. Okay. So again, the rough drafts are not graded. I just want to see progression from your PWA to the rough draft, right? You've done some work, you've done some thinking, you've done some writing, and you have your idea nailed down. Okay. So once I see your rough draft, that is where I will leave more comments, I will leave more feedback and say, I see what you have. Here's what you still need to do. Okay. So think about it this way. The entire point of the rough draft is for me to see what you're doing and what you still need to do for the final draft. Okay. So that's the purpose of the rough draft is for me to have an opportunity to tell you, okay, this is good, this is here, but you still need to do this, right? You still need to add this. You can still talk about this. You can tighten up your prose. You can um, tighten up your punctuation, things like that. Okay. So the rough draft is just there for your benefit that you have something you can turn in to me before you turn something in for a grade, if that makes any sense. Okay. So, what I want you to work on for right now is the practice exercise. I don't want you to necessarily start worrying about the rough draft right now. I will kick that date back a few days to give you some more time to do it. But again, don't overthink your rough draft. Pick a topic out of the ones that you've provided for me and say, this is the topic that I want to do, and here's some more writing on that one topic, okay? Of course, I will post as I always try to do. I'll post some examples of rough drafts from previous students so you can see what they look like and see what I'm kind of asking you to do. But don't psych yourself out. Don't freak out over the rough draft. It's nothing to worry about. Okay. If you have not turned in your PWA, I think maybe one or two of you have not turned it in yet. Please turn in the PWA so I can see your ideas and so I can sign off on that you're on the right track on your ideas. Okay, but please work on this little creative writing activity that we're going to be doing for this week. And let me check my notes. MLA. MLA is something we're going to start talking about this week. So far, I think I've just posted an example of what an MLA formatted paper looks like. And I'm aware that some of you are very familiar with MLA, and that you have worked on it before, maybe in high school. But at the same time, since a lot of you, this is your first writing class, your first English class in college, or your first English class in quite some time, I still want to start everyone off on the same page. So we will kind of start from square one looking at MLA, and I'm just going to teach it as if no one knows what it is. So I do apologize if you are familiar with MLA. This might seem redundant. This might seem like you already know this, but please hang in there. I'm just going to start from square one and teach it as if it's everyone's first time ever learning about it. Okay. So MLA is essentially just a way that we format our paper, okay? So what I mean by formatting is think of it this way. It's the presentation of your paper, okay? It's things like the font. It's things like the spacing of the text. It's things like the size of the text, right? So that might not sound very exciting because it isn't, but we want to make sure that it's something we work on in this class because after you leave this class, other instructors will expect you to know how to do formatting, okay? So we're going to work on it in this class, and I do apologize if you already know how to do MLA. Like I said, we're all just going to start from the beginning and go from there, okay? So you can look at the example that I have posted in week 3, but the basics of MLA, right? And if you're taking notes, I always say this when I'm teaching in person. If you're taking notes, write this down. MLA, right? Times New Roman font, double spaced. 1-inch margins, 12-point font size, all that good stuff. Okay. Now, the only thing you need to know about it for right now is those things, because I want you to write your literacy narrative using that format. We will talk a lot more about formatting as we move forward, but the only real thing you need to know about it right now is, 12 point Times New Roman double spaced font, page numbers, last name in the corner, all that good stuff. If you have questions about MLA, please email me and let me know. If you are really confused about it, we can do a Zoom and I can talk to you one on one. But I want to introduce it this week so you're aware of it and we can start learning how to work with it. Okay. So to recap for right now, look at my feedback on your PWA. Start this creative writing, descriptive writing practice assignment that I want you to do for this week. Do the first part of it. Look at the MLA. Okay, look at the MLA example, and I will send out another notification when I decide what date I'm going to kick our rough draft back to. But don't worry about the rough draft right now. Worry about this creative writing exercise practice assignment and look at the MLA example I posted. All right, thanks, and I will see you in the next update.